Joining us now to discuss is Damian Pelliccioni. He's the CEO of Revry. Damian, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on Cheddar. This is so exciting. It's my first time at the New York Stock Exchange.
We are thrilled to have you.
Yeah, it's much smaller than I anticipated. Even just seeing the bell, I was like, that's crazy how small it is. It looks way bigger on TV.
That is totally most people's reactions here. Let's talk about Revry. How does it differ from a Netflix?
You know, we get this question quite a bit, and Revry is the next generation of streaming networks, very much like you guys, like Cheddar. You know, besides being able to find us on all over-the-top television devices, Apple TV, Comcast, Roku, iOS, Android, and Amazon Fire, we have live channels on Zumo and Pluto. We have over 4,000 hours in our collection. And what really sets us apart is that content. You know, besides just movies and TV shows, we have feature films, we've got shorts, digital series, the largest LGBTQ music library in the world, and the largest LGBTQ podcast network in the world.
Now, is it free ad supported, or is it subscription?
So it's both. We're a hybrid model, so you can completely engage and watch for free with any of our content on any of the apps, or you can subscribe with no commercials. So one has commercials, one does not, and we're introducing our TVOD or transactional section later on this year.
And which one is more successful? I mean, do people want the commercials, or do they want to pay for the no commercial product?
So I always use the example of the demographic. Our core demographic is Gen Z and millennial, you know, and 20% of millennials identify as LGBTQ, 52% of Gen Z do not identify their gender, will be non-binary, or fall somewhere in the queer spectrum. And the Gen Z market prefers the YouTube generation, as I like to call it, the AVOD section. So they're watching with the commercials. And then the older generations will pay for the subscription.
When you say AVOD, advertised video on demand?
Advertising video on demand, correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about numbers here. How
Yeah.
big of an opportunity, how big of a market is this for you?
Well, that's what I was just saying. So 20% of millennials.
Right, but I mean numbers-wise,
yes.
like money-wise.
Money-wise,
yeah.
Okay, in the United States alone, we're worth $913 billion in purchasing power. That's the expendable income of just our market. Globally, $4.3 trillion. So we're not a small market. We're growing exponentially, and Revry is scaling with that.
Where is the money coming to get these originals out the door?
You know, so we are actually in the midst of our new round of fundraising, and we are a inherently community-driven platform. And what we've done, you know, with creating a safe space for these stories to be told both domestically and abroad, because we are a global streaming platform, is we've opened ourselves up to seed invest. So we have a Reg CF happening right now, a regulation crowd fund, where anyone with $500 right now can go to www.seedinvest.com/Revry and get involved. But it is coming to an end very soon, so I encourage them to take a look.
We hear so much about cost of content going up and up because now there are more bidders than ever for this content. Numbers that are thrown around: Amazon, $5 billion on content, Netflix, $8 to $12 billion on content last year. How much are you guys spending on content, and how much of your budget goes to content?
More than 40% of our budget is used on content. I always like to say that content is our currency in a lot of ways. And I think the biggest and most exciting thing, you know, is what sets us apart from those mainstream platforms is the inherently identity-driven brand that is Revry. I always use the example that Tom's Shoes or Honest Company or Whole Foods, being one of those consumers of a product like that, says something about you as a consumer, and we focus ourselves and position ourselves exactly the same way. Being a Revry consumer is an identity-driven brand.
Do you find that there's a lack of this content on other platforms like a Netflix?
Yeah, there is a huge lack, or it's straight-washed, as we like to say. You know, the difference with us is we are authentically founded, 50% women of color, queer women of color, and 75% POC, people of color founded. You know, and our entire team is made up of LGBTQ staff and allied staff.
In terms of, you know, acquiring new users, what has worked? Is it word of mouth? Is it a massive ad campaign? What are you doing to get people on board?
So, you know, we built this with sweat equity. We're only 2.5 years old. We're doing our seed round right now, and a lot of it has been word of mouth. People really engaging with great content. We have the first Hindi, English language lesbian drama from Bangalore, The Other Love Story. We have Queens of Kings, this amazing docu-series about the underground drag scene in Brooklyn. We have such amazing content for people to discover on our platform.
Queen of Kings is an amazing name for a show.
Yeah, thanks, yeah. It's one of our tentpole originals. But you know what, today we have a huge announcement. We're giving you guys an exclusive.
Oh, drop it, Damian.
Make some news.
Are you guys ready for this?
We're ready.
Yes.
So we are so proud to be announcing our partnership with you guys today on Comcast Xfinity X1. Revry, later on this month, will be on the X1 boxes. And now that'll expand our reach to over 50 million homes worldwide outside of our native apps. which is super exciting because X1 is such a great piece of technology, and we're so proud and honored to be part of the Comcast family.
Is Comcast Ventures an investor in Revry?
Not yet, but hopefully I'll come back on and we can answer that question for you.
Maybe down the road. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.